when that person comes into the world now, most things you do are based around this child, what I need to put in place for this child. And personally, my kids have changed my life. Like when I've had my first one, I think it was 22, 23, like I was being naughty. You know what I'm saying? I was being naughty.
Yeah.
I wasn't really particularly doing much. And when I had my first one, that spurred me on to change things. You know what I'm saying? Where before I might have thought I wasn't ready or whatever, and I was apprehensive about having a child and whatnot, that really spurred me on to, to make changes in my life, to push forward on things that I'd just been thinking about. You know what I'm saying? Because I had no choice now in my head.
Absolutely. It does something to you. It brings ideas which weren't there, gives you a bit more fear, but then that's replaced with more hope that something else is going to go right for you. And
100%.
Yeah, I think the motivation definitely for me, I had my first child. It was weird for me because I think a lot of people had children, a lot of close friends like yourself and others had children before me. So there was this feeling of, I do want to not just jump on the bandwagon, so to speak, but you do want to enjoy what I was viewing you guys going through. And then you get into it for yourself and you're thinking, well, they did this 10 years prior. This is what they were doing this 10 years ago. This is tough. This is a lot to deal with, and yeah, you do think, when you get that great news, all emotions and ideas start going through your head. Is going to be a boy or a girl, and I'm going to be this type of dad. And again, money. You start thinking about money. You start thinking about how am I going to pay for stuff, space in your house, how you're going to juggle things. How you're going to still be able to do a job and commute and all these type of things. But when that child's there, then you can start formulating your life plan. I think you've got a life plan and a path up until that point. And now this has now been thrown into the mix, and now you've got to change your plan. You can adapt your plan or change your plan, but some things definitely will change for sure.
100%. 100%. Because before that child comes, you're just out here, innit? You're just doing what you do for yourself. You wake up each day. You just think about yourself. You know what I'm saying? And you might not be, you're not necessarily a selfish person, but it just is what it is. You just have to fend for yourself, and that's it. When that person comes into the world now, most things you do are based around this child, what I need to put in place for this child. How am I going to create for this child? What, just simple, like, I need to buy nappies for this child. I need to provide many things for this child, for someone else. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And for me, for most people, I feel it turns them into a better person. You know what I'm saying? Or brings out a better side of that person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a warmer side. I would say it's a warmer, nurturing side. And if I'm honest, I think some men are afraid to walk towards that. It is a nice feeling having a child. And I think there's too much of this kind of macho, I'm going to be this type of dad, maybe mimicking what your dad might have been, your own dad might have been. Because as we know, as generations change, the job role is still the same, but the roles we play can be very different. So, I think it's good to kind of get into the emotion side of it as well, definitely, because it's a new life. It's part of you. That's your blood, flesh and blood, and you're responsible for it. You're responsible for that boy or girl. They're going to need you for everything up until a certain point, forever. So it's those when you do think about those things, I think that can scare a few people. I think it's like you said, they're selfish up until that point. So
it can, but like with most things that are worth anything, it's scary to think about before you actually do it. Once you're in it, it's like, this wasn't so bad, Most things are built up in our heads, innit? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Most things are not so bad once you start them, once you try them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And having a child is one of those things. Like, for me, in the early days especially, it's not so much the child. It's, as I said before, you have to think about who you're having that child with. You know what I'm saying? Because The person that you're having that child with has the power to make or break your life. You know what I'm saying? They really do, man.
Yeah.
They really
Absolutely.
do. Like, they say you can't choose your family. You can definitely choose who you have a baby with. You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong. Accidents happen, you know. For me,
and things fall apart.
Yeah, things fall apart. You know what I'm saying? Things don't always work. But I guess you can only do what is in your control, innit? And if you set about it the right way and say, okay, I'm going to purposely look for someone who is right for me, not just me, but for my child, innit, at the end of the day. Because if all else pops down, as we know they do in relationships, then you can say, okay, cool, I'm calm. I've got someone there that will take care of my child, that will do right by my child, no matter what's going on between us.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
It's about picking your partner wisely. I suppose they say pick your partner wisely, but anything can happen.
Anything can happen. You know, women naturally and men change when a baby comes, and you know you can't account for that. But as I said, you can only do what's in your control. You know what I'm saying? If you're seeing a woman, and you know you like this woman because she looks a certain way, or she cooks a certain way, or she does both, you know, and you just like her because she's feisty and whatever, that's all good. That's fine. That's fine. But when it comes to starting a family, you have to kind of assess that and say, has this girl got, or this woman got what I want and what my child would need? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You got to look at those qualities. But and it's interesting because when you're seeking a partner, it's all based on look first, isn't it? So it's going to be based on attraction. So, and I feel like because, you know, probably asking yourself these questions in the beginning, that's where sometimes people can probably pick the wrong partner, or maybe not see some of these things which may not be there when that time comes. You know, I think I'm quite lucky enough. Me and my wife have been together a very long time now. So it felt, when we were about to start having a family, it felt like the right time. Yeah, it absolutely felt like the right time. It felt like we'd lived together and we'd been married a few years, and we thought, yeah, this is the right time to kind of venture into that new path. You know, it's like a new stage. You know, it's like when you move out for the first time. First holiday is a stage. You know, staying over is a stage. Moving in together is a stage. Marriage, move first house, that type of stuff. They're all stages, and a child is just another one of those stages. But just a new person in the house, really.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. I mean, I'm lucky in a sense as well, where I've been with my missus since I was 17, and we had our first at 23, something like that. And, you know, I didn't, at that time, I can't say I thought too much about all these factors, you know, when it comes to having a child. It's only in hindsight, when I look back on it, I feel like, you know, for anyone that's having a child now or is thinking about having a child, there are things to consider. But as I said, for me, I'm lucky as to where I've got with someone young and they just happen to be the right person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we worked. Not that there wasn't shit in between that. You know what I'm saying? Not that there wasn't a lot of testing times in between that. But, you know, I think there's a difference between someone who you can work with and someone who's just there and you just don't work at all. You know what I'm saying? No matter what you try, you don't work. You're just wrong.
A lot of clashes.
Yeah.
A lot of clashes and not a lot of give and take. And that's the thing, the whole give and take thing. Yeah, you should not go into it thinking it should be a 50-50 split. There could be times where that scale is uneven and it doesn't feel fair. You know, but it's
supposed to balance out in the end, isn't it? It's supposed to balance out in the end. Not day to day, like, oh, I did this, so on paper you should be doing that, and it doesn't
that's
work
not real. That's not real. That's not really real. It's interesting because I had a close friend, his missus always said to me that I was way too picky. But some of these things were things that I was looking for when I was looking for a partner. And it doesn't matter that I was only, I think my missus at 18. We got together like when we was 19. And I thought I just had those things in my mind at the time. you know.
Oh, well, I think
And it's one of those things. I don't know. Everyone's different, but I definitely know, and I think it's from having friends who were older than me at the time who had kids and were in relationships. I suppose I was looking up to that and thought, yeah, I kind of like what they have. And you can't mimic it. I think that's where sometimes people go wrong as well. You kind of mimic what you think is the thing, but living in it and seeing it is two different things.
100%.